Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. We're going to be giving you a bunch of Joker lists. Yes, it is Joker time once more. And we looked at the heroic moments, so now we are going to look at scary moments. And we have tons to choose from. So if you like it, we've got more. We always have more. Most amazing top 100, here we come. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 scary things the Joker has done. Let's get started. Number 10. Cutting off his own face. Took his face off. So this occurred during the New 52. Well, the New 52 wanted to go up the edge in the grit factor, and the Joker was already going pretty hardcore post-Crisis. So New 52 had to find a way to make it even more intense. I mean, he'd already slit his tongue in half, been shot in the head, a lot was going on. So what better way than by having him cut his own face off? And this face, oh, it got around. For a while, Harley had it, and she put it on Deadshot's face, and then she made out with it. Just, it was a whole lot. Then the Joker would staple his face back on. Why did this happen? Because they could, really. The Joker has an iconic look, so it's kind of hard to play with, but people will find a way, and it was very much the mentality of, oh yeah, the Joker's insane, of course he would cut his own face off. Why would you question that? You're the crazy one. Yeah, this was a thing that happened. Is it more scary or gross? You decide. Number 9. Injustice. So this one goes low because, well, it starts off an alternate universe, and he dies pretty quickly in it. What's more scary is the ramifications his actions have. The ripple effect all the way down. So in this verse, which was a tie into the video game initially, fun fact, he convinces Superman that Doomsday is there, but really he's attacking Lois and their unborn child, ultimately killing them. This pushes Superman off the deep end, and he goes, finds the Joker, and strikes his hand right through his chest, and that panel is iconic. Look at how shocked Batman's face is. Le gasp. Well, this is just one cool alternate verse. Number 8. Super sane. Okay, this fact has been kicking around for a while. In certain stories it was implied that the Joker wasn't insane, no, he was super sane and hyper intelligent. With an awareness so keen, he knew he was a comic book character, and so did all the awful things he could because none of it matters. We were all just cruel puppets at the whims of our masters. This vacillates, as do most things with the Joker, and the more accepted canon is that he's insane. But if you say that, prepare for there to be at least one person who goes, actually, he's super sane? I can't believe you would say that. That's the worst comic book fan ever. The idea of a hyper sane Joker is scary because part of how people rationalize his actions is that they're not something someone who could think through their actions would do. But if he's super sane, then we're all just one day away from trying to copyright some fish. Number 7. Jason Todd. The murder of Jason Todd at the hands of the Joker is an iconic moment, one of those that sticks out, traversing canons, and is even known to those outside of the comic book fandom. It's horrifying for a few reasons. The death of a child, which raised questions about the ethics of Batman having child partners. And also, it's just a line that is crossed. There were some things that just were considered off limits, and this changed that. It also created years of pathos for Batman, and Jason Todd, when he returned, would take on the name Red Hood, which was allegedly the criminal alias of the Joker, pre-Joker, depending on your origin, or if you believe that he has one. Dark stuff. It must also be known that he didn't beat him to death with a crowbar. He beat him with a crowbar and then blew up the building he was in. They just linger on that beating super hard, and it's pretty intense. That'll learn Jason to love his mom and have a distinct origin from Dick. How dare he? Where's my phone? Let me put it on redial for the next time they have a vote. A little comic book history joke for all of you. Number 6. He killed Commissioner Gordon's wife. So this occurred during the No Man's Land arc, which also is Harley's first appearance in comics. Fun fact. This is where a terrible earthquake rocks Gotham, and it's divided into different areas, mostly controlled by villains. The Joker, of course, is spreading chaos, and one sequence has a bunch of babies he's holding hostage. Gordon's wife, Sarah Essen, is pleading with him and seems to have gotten through to him when he suddenly tosses a baby to her, which he catches out of instinct, only for him to go Merry Christmas and shoot her point blank in the head. It was really dark. Commissioner Gordon would shoot him in the knee, which the Joker would find hilarious. Yuck, a bullet to the knee before it was cool. Dark moment, but one that people forget about. Lots of them. Did you forget? Number 5. No fear. Scarecrow's fear toxin doesn't work. So the Joker and Scarecrow have worked together on occasion, kinda. But working with the Joker is always a risk, and is it one worth taking? You decide. Well, one team up, the Scarecrow tries to use his toxin on him, only for it to not work, and for him to taunt Crane going, not bad, what other flavors you got? The Joker would then proceed to beat him with a chair for the audacity of trying to uncover some deep-seated phobia, which he didn't have. There are also some classic ones where he replaces the toxin so it never hits him. I don't know, I think the Joker would have a fear. Something corny and romantic like a world without Batman. His nightmare. We all know he loves him. Are we still pretending he doesn't? He loves Harley too though. Fight me. Number 4. Tim Drake and Batman Beyond. So Batman Beyond from the DCAU got pretty dark, and Return of the Joker was pretty intense, so much so that there was a censored version and an uncensored one, actually for the scene we're about to talk about. During the flashback sequence of this film, we learn about the day the Joker went too far, and that was when he kidnapped Tim Drake, Robin at the time. In the DCEU, that's the animated universe continuity, he is the second Robin. You have to be real specific when you mention this, because otherwise people are like, haha, you skipped Jason, fake nerd. Well ha, you're wrong. In this universe, it's Tim. A Tim who gets tortured and turned into a miniature version of the Joker, and he was pretty far gone. Tim actually kills the Joker after the Joker tries to get him to kill Batman. It's really dark, which is my word of the video, and sad. Here's a clip.
Do it! That's not funny.
Also, years later, it would turn out that the Joker had left his imprint on him that would force him to transform into the Joker again. Super intense. Number 3. Paralyzing Barbara Gordon. This occurs in The Killing Joke and is a polarizing moment. Some felt it was exploitative and should never have happened, while others feel it's a powerful, poignant moment that perfectly encapsulates the thesis of the story, that these two's rivalry is destroying them and the people around them and expanding waves of collateral damage. Some also feel that the panels of Barbara posed naked are exploitative, as you can see, well, her body. There are many ways to interpret this story, and it is a classic regardless of how one feels about it. Also, for all the people who love that Batgirl variant cover, I got your back. Some feel that it's a call to real-world violence against women, and the fear that some feel they constantly live in, but others feel that it's art, and of course Barbara should look scared. He hurt her, it's a callback, just like all those variant covers of him killing Jason, over and over again, which people don't object to, even though they're oft-times much more morbid. Him paralyzing her, it happened. I love this cover. I thought it listed what it was supposed to, fear and horror. Also, it was a variant. And one always has to draw that line between fiction and reality. The Joker is a bad person, being depicted doing something bad to someone he hurt. No one is off limits from the Joker. Also, if you love morbid cover arts, look at the horror variant for Deceased #1, which is an It variant with Jason and the Joker. He'll float too. It says that on it. It's really dark. I get hating this cover. It's icky, but it's supposed to be. Unpopular opinion, I know, but I like the cover, and I'm not afraid to say it. Number 2. No definitive origin. So the Joker has had many origins, but one of the fun things about him is that none of them may be true, as he is an unreliable narrator. Or maybe one is, but even he doesn't know which one it is. Many people cite The Killing Joke as his origin, but that one is actually an Elseworld story, which is why some people are angry that Barbara was paralyzed in main canon because of it, which was admittedly odd. Still, this is just one of the origins. The Joker likes to say that his origin is multiple choice, which is why whenever there is an origin, some people protest so vehemently. Do you have a favorite Joker origin? Let me know down below. Number 1. The Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, this is pretty scary. I love how horrifying his design is. Just imagine him coming towards you, down a dark hallway, maybe in an abandoned hospital. I don't know, no thank you. So let's talk about both Jokers. We have Dark Knight's Metal to thank for this. So in it, on alternate Earth, a negative Earth, the Joker goes way over the line, more so than usual, and is Jokerizing kids to recreate Bruce's parents' death. It was a whole thing. He knew that Bruce was Batman, which I'm convinced he already knows, but I digress. Batman kills him, joining the next Snap Club. This releases a bunch of toxin into the air, which Batman breathes in, and it changes him, it Jokerizes him, and he becomes a terrifying Joker-Batman hybrid. It's just the design, it's so good. I know some people think it's played out, especially now as he's everywhere, and they may feel it's a bit overplayed. I mean, he got a mini-series, he's part of this new event, Batman and the Joker had to team up to take him down, but I'm basic, like a pumpkin spice latte. An evil delicious pumpkin spice. What do you think the scariest Joker moment is? Please share down below. There are so many to choose from, and I love hearing about all of them. I'm Sasha, thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications so that you never miss a vid, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
I'm Sad. What up, Nerd Squad? Welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, Connor Monroe, and today we're getting our thinking hats on and going through some theories you definitely want to hear. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit like and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd and ring the notification bell to join the squad. Also, be sure you're sticking around until the end because I'm going to be reading out your comments. Okay, now let's get started with this list of the top 10 scary Joker fan theories. Intro time. Number 10, Joker takes place in Flashpoint. User Fritzen8805 on Reddit seems to think that DC is trying to set up a Flashpoint universe on the silver screen. If you don't already know, Flashpoint is a universe that was created when Barry Allen, aka The Flash, ran back in time and stopped his mother from being murdered. This caused a whole bunch of changes, making the DC universe to be darker for a time. Batman was a killer and Thomas Wayne, The Flash didn't have his powers, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman had an affair and then went to war. Typical stuff, you know. This theory says that the Joker movie is intended to take place in this universe, since it seems to be darker and grittier than the normal DCEU. This could make sense, with the rumors of a Flashpoint movie constantly going around. It would work if they ever wanted to incorporate it. The theory suggests that at the end of the movie, Joker will be killed by Batman, showing him as a Batman who isn't afraid of killing. However, the Joker in Flashpoint is Bruce Wayne's mother, so that throws a wrench into things. But maybe the parents are gay, who knows? Number 9, he has super sanity. The Joker is generally seen as crazy and chaotic, but perhaps he does what he does because he knows what's going on. What if he is so sane, in fact, that he knows he's in a comic book or movie and he knows his actions have no consequences? What about if he knows his existence relies on Batman appearing, so he becomes obsessed with Batman since without him, he doesn't exist? He also knows that killing Batman is impossible because the writers simply won't let him die. Maybe the Joker is the only sane character in the whole DC universe because he knows the real story. He has no confirmed past because without one he's easier to bring back in another form, and he knows this. He wants to continue living for as long as possible, and that's why he does the crazy things he does, to be featured. Number 8, he's immortal. Based on another backstory from the Joker, in Batman Endgame, the Joker is revealed to have come into contact with the meteor that gave Vandal Savage his immortality, and that in essence created the Lazarus Pit. He encountered the meteor before Gotham was built, and has been living ever since. What if this is why Batman was never able to kill him? Not because of his one rule, but because of Joker's superpower. What if, instead of the meteor, he got this power from knowing he's in a comic, thus giving him perfect control over the outcome of his story? Or knows that the writers won't kill him off because he's such a popular character? These two theories work in tandem if you think about it in the right way. And if Joker is immortal, it would explain things like the Injustice game story, where he is much more difficult to defeat because of a, as he calls it, happy pill. It could just be his normal immortality being used, but he just makes it seem like it was the pill everyone else took. There are more layers to this theory than you know, so if you know any other things that would be explained by this, let me know in the comments. Number 7, he's Jason Todd. Okay, put out your torch and put the pitchfork down, it's just a theory. A Joker theory. In Suicide Squad, Joker is covered in tattoos, one of which is a bird, the same one that symbolizes Robin. The tear on his cheek is actually a J, which could also stand for Jason rather than Joker. The fact that Joker has left a message for Batman on Robin's old suit in Batman v Superman, the fact that Joker holds his cane in a similar fashion to how Robin's suit holds his lance in Batman v Superman, the bullet holes on the suit in Batman v Superman matching up with the strange marks on Jared Leto's shoulders in Suicide Squad, the evidence adds up. And there is the fact that every Robin, aside from Damian Wayne, has become the Joker at some point. It might include Damian Wayne, I'm not too sure about it. But if he's become the Joker before, he can become the Joker again. Number 6, the Joker and Batman are brothers. Fans seem to think that in the Nolanverse, the Joker and Batman are brothers. What if Thomas and Martha Wayne had another child, but he had severe mental disabilities, so they gave him up to give him his best chance. Then he breaks out of wherever he's kept and finds out he has a brother, and a filthy rich brother at that. Angry that his parents loved his brother more than him, he does more digging and figures out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So he dedicates himself to becoming a part of his brother's life and showing him that he is worth something. He hopes Batman kills him to prove that at least he's better than his brother, because even the Joker wouldn't kill his own brother. Remember, on Earth 3, there is Batman's evil counterpart, Owlman, who is Thomas Wayne Jr., Bruce Wayne's older brother, who after watching his mother and brother die, ends up turning to crime. Where's the Earth Prime Thomas Wayne Jr.? He's Thomas Wayne Joker. That was bad. Halfway through at number 5, he didn't kill Bruce's parents. The 1989 film Batman brought together the backstories of the Joker and Batman, causing the Joker to be the one who killed Bruce's parents. However, in Batman Year 2, it was revealed that Batman's parents were killed by a criminal named Joe Chill, and Batman goes to hunt him down. So if this is to remain canonical, why does Batman think the Joker did it in the film? Perhaps because Batman needs a reason to hate the Joker for more than being just a menace. Or perhaps he did it to justify why he hates him so much, and by defeating the Joker, he can get some form of closure. This could make sense since being Batman would obviously take a toll on someone's mental health. Perhaps this is Batman's way to cope with the loss, since he's still not over it because they keep rehashing it in every incarnation. Martha! Number 4, he's a recruit of the League of Shadows. The Joker in The Dark Knight never had his backstory revealed, and since everything in the Nolanverse seems to be connected, maybe Joker trained at the same place Bruce did, but failed the final rite, and the drug that was created with the flower ripped his mind to shreds. Maybe his greatest fear was clowns, and that's why he becomes one and waits for his chance to kill Ra's al Ghul. But he never gets the opportunity because Bruce does it first. Maybe this causes the Joker to see Batman as both his enemy and his ally, for taking his kill, but taking out his greatest enemy as well. This could be why he doesn't kill Batman, because he appreciates it. So perhaps there is more of a connection here than we know. It would also explain the Joker's fighting skills as well as his strategy. League of Shadows or League of Assassins, depending on what version you look at. Number 3, The Real Joker and Joker. The Joker solo film comes out very soon, or is out now depending on when this is being watched. One theory floating around is that the Joker we see in the movie is not the real Joker, merely the inspiration for the real Joker. This Joker goes crazy and commits crimes like usual and is captured and sent to Arkham, where everyone thinks he's mad, but one person finds him inspiring. That person becomes the Joker towards the end of the film, and that's how the movie ends. Perhaps inspiring a kid to become the next Joker, since the age gap between the Joker and Bruce Wayne is larger than normal in this movie. Perhaps inspiring the Jason Todd of the DCEU, and after being betrayed by Batman, finally chooses to become his original inspiration. All these theories interlock, man. Number 2, he was killed by Batman. Batman famously has one rule that he will never break, but also breaks quite a lot. He won't kill unless he isn't doing it directly. One theory, however, thinks that in Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, after the Joker has broken James Gordon and mentally tortured Batman, that he ended up breaking him too, causing bats to either snap his neck or crush his neck. The final panels of The Killing Joke show Batman and the Joker laughing at Joker's final joke. I'm saying joke a lot. Then Batman's hands get close to the Joker's neck, and then the laughter cuts off. In the animated version, this gets bumped up, with Batman resting his hands below the Joker's throat while laughing hysterically, and as the camera pans down, the Joker suddenly stops laughing, and Batman continues on. People might have originally assumed the Joker was confused as to why Batman was laughing so much, but maybe that's not the reason. Maybe he's dead. Finally, at number 1, Joker is Bruce's nurse. So you may have heard this theory before, it's been going around for a while, but basically what it's saying is that Bruce Wayne, after the death of his parents, was brought into a mental hospital to help him deal with the trauma. But instead of getting better, he created a world in his mind to retreat into. The villains he faces are the nurses in the hospital, Joker and Harley are nurses who are dating, Killer Croc has a crocodile tattoo, and Two-Face loves flipping coins. I personally love this theory because instead of a big, strong, brave man who is protecting his city, it shows a hero as someone who needs saving, and it helps to show the harsh reality of going through something that would be so traumatic. This is something that can happen in reality, and it has been done in movies and other media before, so why not in Batman? I mean, Harley was a psychiatrist, right? Perhaps that's the only thing he can remember about his past life, and that's why it's her backstory. There we have it, nerds, the top 10 scary Joker theories. What are your thoughts on these theories, and do you think any of these can be true? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you hit like and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd on your way down. While you do so, I'm going to read out some comments from the top 10 superheroes who hate their alternate versions list. Cody LeDuc says, "Does that even make sense?" Well, it's a Flash story, so no. I mean, in all honesty, most Flash plots make sense in my mind, but the whole sacrificing yourself thing I can't really get behind, unless it's to Cthulhu. Or Talos. Crimson Scar Gaming says, "Honestly, Batman kills more than I would like." Honestly! I mean, if he doesn't kill, why are so many people dying because of him? Him killing is supposed to be a very rare thing, but it looks like he kills every other Wednesday. Jeez, Batman, shape up. Chase Halliday said, "I see the Area 51 raid was successful." I don't know what you're talking about. I've been human my whole life. John Doe says, "Hi, Mr. Connor. So, got any puns? What concert costs 45 cents? 50 Cent featuring Nickelback." Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure you hit like and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd. You know the deal. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.
When it comes to alternate versions of a comic book character from different parts of their respective multiverses, the Joker is by far one of DC's most prominent villains to get a multiversal makeover. Multiple times. There are a slew of alternate versions of the Clown Prince of Crime that have popped up over the years from other Earths, Elseworld stories, and ones that have even spawned from the Joker of the regular universe himself. Today, we are taking a look at a particular aspect of these iterations, the top 10 scary Joker alternate versions. And let's be frank about something. No matter what, the Joker is a horrifying character. A beloved one, no doubt, but as far as villains go, he's high up on the that's pure evil spectrum. And yes, that is a spectrum I just made up. Yet some of these alternate versions somehow managed to up that by being even more horrifying in their own unique ways. So with that in mind, let's jump into our list. Starting us off in at number 10, Hyena. What's scarier than the Joker? Well, how about a Joker combined with a homicidal beast of a villain known for his gruesome behavior? Enter Hyena from the Amalgam Universe, an alternate Earth that combines both Marvel and DC characters, merging them into one another. Hyena is the amalgamation of the Joker and Sabretooth from Marvel, with their stories being a very much intertwined origin story. He fell into some acid. And he's the greatest foe of Darkblood, the amalgamation of Batman and Wolverine, if that wasn't already a given. Hyena's real name is Creed Quinn, and along with Logan Wayne, he was a subject chosen to be part of the Weapon X program. Compared to Logan though, Creed fully dived into the idea of being a living weapon, embracing it and becoming a remorseless and psychopathic killer obsessed with murdering Darkblood. Up next, number 9, Batman BLOODSTORM. BLOODSTORM is an Elseworlds title that's actually a sequel to Batman and Dracula Red Rain. As you can imagine, is a story where vampires are very much involved. Taking place on Earth 43, BLOODSTORM sees the Joker become the leader of a group of vampires after said group's original leader, Dracula, was killed off in the previous story. With this newfound gang, the Joker manages to take control of all the major crime families in Gotham, prompting the vampire Batman and the werecat Selina Kyle to go after him. Unfortunately, Selina dies in the conflict, so Batman loses his crap and then gives into his bloodlust, drinking from the Joker. He doesn't turn the Joker into a vampire though. Instead, he kills him. And because of it, Batman is tormented by the knowledge that the Joker won, driving him to finally kill. Speaking of killing, that brings us to our number 8, Earth 2's Joker. Earth 2 is the reality in which all of DC's Golden Age heroes were retroactively allocated after Crisis on Infinite Earths. As such, the Joker of this reality has aged quite a bit, and it's implied that he is the one who killed Bruce Wayne in this reality. If this is true, this is the only known Joker to have actually murdered Bruce Wayne, and that's pretty terrifying. While his battle against Batman continues by fighting off his successors, post-52, this Joker is depicted as a frail old man, wheelchair-bound thanks to a lifetime of exposure to deadly chemicals. And ironically enough, he's unable to laugh without physically hurting himself. Talk about justice. Speaking of justice, in at number 7, Digital Justice. The Digital Justice version of the Joker is a bit of a double whammy, and represents a different kind of terror that, in our technologically savvy reality, hits home in a way that's unique compared to the other Jokers on this list. The Joker from this story dies of old age, but not without leaving behind a legacy, and that legacy is something called the Joker virus, a sentient digital virus whose purpose was to carry on the Joker's work after he died. It's self-aware, and it claims to be a reincarnation of the original Joker. Now, the virus would go on to control most of human technology thanks to society's reliance on it, and a corrupt Gotham government. Its reign of terror is what pushed James Gordon II to become the Batman of this universe known as the Bat. And in order to stop it, he used something called the Batcom, a program created by the original Batman in order to eliminate threats like these. The story ends with the Joker virus and Batcom fighting it out digitally in a net mainframe until both completely delete their software. How very reboot. And while the visuals that depict said virus may be a little cheesy, the implications of its power is something we can easily wrap our heads around and fear. Up next, number 6, Martha Wayne. This one takes us to the FLASHPOINT universe, an altered timeline visited by the Flash in which his mother Nora is alive and his father Henry isn't. But that isn't the only difference between the regular universe and this reality. FLASHPOINT doesn't have a Justice League, or a Superman, or a Flash. As such, many of the characters we know and love in the DC universe have severely altered narratives. For example, Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Which brings us to this alternate. On the night that Bruce's parents were supposed to be gunned down, the events played out differently in the FLASHPOINT universe, with the young Bruce being killed off instead. This pushed his father Thomas Wayne into becoming Batman and his mother Martha Wayne to devolve into becoming the Joker. And now they are each other's mortal enemy. Pretty freaky. Up next at number 5, the Arkhamverse Joker. The Clown Prince of Crime is just as twisted and homicidal in the Batman video game universe as he is in the comics. Here we have an alternate version that's a pretty popular one. The version that appears in the Arkham Batman video game series by developer Rocksteady, and was initially voiced by Mark Hamill. As the primary antagonist for the most part in the series, he's up to his typical insanity as you'd expect. But towards the end of the first game, Arkham Asylum, he augments his physical form to become one of the most monstrous looking versions of the Joker to date. This version is referred to as Joker Titan. He grows in size and muscle, being as tall as Killer Croc and with parts of his bones sticking out of his flesh. His fingernails are incredibly long and sharpened, and for some reason he's got a mohawk. While his appearance like this was highly criticized in the video game, and a lot of players felt it was a narrative cop-out, you gotta admit, he is pretty freaky looking. I don't know about you guys, but if I saw him walking down the street, I would definitely cross the road multiple times to a completely different intersection, miles away. Yep. In at number 4, we have Batman Two-Faces. This alternate version of the Joker isn't just the Joker in this 1998 Elseworlds comic book. He's also Batman. Let's backtrack for a sec though. Batman Two-Faces is a story based off of the Robert Louis Stevenson novel Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and is set in the Victorian era as Bruce Wayne fights against his once friend, now insane pal, Harvey Dent. Bruce is trying to purge his own evil while also trying to track down a serial killer by the name of Joker, who's been roaming the streets of 1888 Gotham. Gotham. As you can imagine thanks to the time period, this version of the Joker pulls a lot of inspiration from Jack the Ripper, with most of his victims being prostitutes. Bruce formulates a potion to help cure Two-Face, but in the process tests it on himself, which causes him to turn into the Joker, at first without his knowledge. The story ends with Bruce turning himself into Commissioner James Gordon and fighting Two-Face as the Joker almost to the death, before turning himself back into Batman and then falling to his own death. The Joker also cripples Selina Kyle in the story, which actually brings us to our next number. In at 3, The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke, a one-shot graphic novel written by Alan Moore released in 1988, is one of the most iconic Joker stories to date. It provides an origin story for the character that was based off of the 1951 The Man Behind the Red Hood comic book story. And it's also famous for being the story in which Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, was paralyzed from the waist down. The reason why we find this Joker so terrifying and why he lands on our list is that this version really exhibits the lack of humanity and a love of sadism more viscerally than other alternates that we've seen. His actions are shocking, so much so that The Killing Joke still has implications and garners a response from readers to this very day. Remember the controversy surrounding the release of a Batgirl cover that was an homage to The Killing Joke? Yeah, people freaked out because of the sensitive subject matter it's referring to, the assault and paralysis of Barbara Gordon, and the cruelty towards women, in case you missed it. Alan Moore himself has actually commented on how morbid and ethically questionable the Joker's behavior is in that comic, and that's saying a lot. Up next, number 2, The Dark Knight Returns Joker from Earth 31. When we were first introduced to the Joker of Earth 31, the designated Earth for Frank Miller's Dark Knight series, it was after 10 years of being locked up inside of Arkham Asylum in a near catatonic stupor. During the story, news comes out that the Joker's conscious mind has resurfaced thanks to the care of the doctors at the facility. He claims that he is a victim of Batman's own psychosis, but turns out he's not actually cured. He's just manipulated the staff as part of a plan to get out. And at a public reveal for his recovery on a talk show, he ends up murdering all of the guests on live television and then takes hostages to a local carnival. It's an incredibly chilling scene to play out in the panels. Batman then tracks him down and they fight in the Hall of Mirrors and eventually into Gotham's sewers, where Batman paralyzes the Joker. But then the Joker gets the last laugh. He twists his own neck far enough to kill himself, framing Batman for his murder. Yikes. Side note, he also has a dragon tattoo on his back, which is only really seen on one of the covers from another tale from this Earth that takes place in an earlier timeline during Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin, particularly on the cover of All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder. Dragon tattoo, so edgy and evil. Well, not really evil, but yeah. And finally, in at number 1, The Dark Knight Strikes Again Joker from Earth 31. While The Dark Knight Strikes Again pales in comparison to its predecessor, it's still an impactful Batman tale from Frank Miller. Now, this version of the Joker isn't the Joker that we saw previously in our last number. Rather, it's an individual posing as a new Joker. And that individual is Dick Grayson. Yeah, some steep implications there. Released in 2001 with much more questionable art than the original, The Dark Knight Strikes Again depicts a Joker with supernatural powers and a healing factor. He kills numerous superheroes under orders of Lex Luthor, who now runs a dictatorial regime. Many of the superheroes can't believe their eyes, but they insist that this isn't the same Joker from years and years ago. And they're right, it's Dick Grayson, who Batman had fired and abandoned in the past. And now Dick specifically targets Batman's new partner, Carrie Kelly, out of jealousy. His disguise as the Joker was a way to emotionally taunt Batman before fully taking his revenge. Not only does Grayson's version of the Joker really hit home for Bruce, but on the panels, he's terrifying to look at too. Whether or not that's a product of Miller's sloppy artwork in this graphic novel is, well, your call to make. Still scary. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other alternate versions of the Joker freak you out? Which one would you want to see get into another conflict with Batman? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts and feels. If you dug this video, you folks know the drill. Hit that like button, share with a friend, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.
Joker is one of the greatest villains of all time. He is so iconic. One of the things that fascinates people is the mystery behind him. Sure, we've gotten to know a little bit more about his past over the years, but we still don't know everything. That's even more true every time someone else plays him, because usually it's a new interpretation of the character, which means that he has a new backstory. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, David Raff, and today we are going to be talking about the top 10 scary Joker theories. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd so you never miss one nerdy moment. Alright, with all that being said, let's get started. Number 10, he knows he's in a movie. This one comes from the amazing 2008 film The Dark Knight. You see, this theory started floating around shortly after The Dark Knight was released. Throughout the film, we hear multiple stories about how Joker got his scars. Every time the Joker is with someone new, he tells them a different story. So, fans started to think that if the story was a lie and he was telling different people, then why did he change it? Some people believe that it was for the audience since he was aware of them. Another scene is when he kills a guy with a pencil. Some people think he was interacting with the audience after he does it. Now, whether these are true or not, they are interesting to think about. Number 9, he's a former soldier. This theory also comes from The Dark Knight. Some fans believe that he's actually a former soldier who was suffering from PTSD. There are a few reasons this theory came to be. One of them was during the interrogation scene with Batman. He knew everything Batman was going to do, and he was able to take it all really well, which some people said would be because he was a prisoner of war at some point in his career. Another reason was when he was trying to assassinate the mayor. Everything from his outfit to his near-perfect impersonation of a soldier firing a gun. Fans believe that only someone with former military experience and knowledge would be able to pull something like that off. Number 8. Super sanity. Okay, so this one is very different. You see, some people believe that Joker has the power of super sanity. Well, people say that it would be being able to see things as they truly are and not as they are disguised to be. Because of this, it forced him to go crazy. The term super sanity comes from the comic book Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth. Now, because of this, people believe that with this power, he realized he was even in a comic book, which further caused him to spiral into badness. It's a little bit of a stretch, but, you know, it's pretty interesting, and would definitely change our perception of the Joker if it turned out to be true. Number 7. Didn't kill Batman's parents. In the 1989 film, Batman, it was revealed that it wasn't just some random mugger that killed Bruce's parents. It was actually the Joker. But some fans believe that that's not actually true. They believe that Batman hated the Joker so much that he actually made himself believe that it was the Joker who killed his parents, when, in reality, it really wasn't. They say it was a way to truly justify his hatred of the Joker, and that everything he was doing to stop the Joker was in the name of his parents. In the comics, Joker didn't kill Bruce's parents, and that's why a lot of fans chose not to believe it was true in the film as well. Number 6. Jason Todd. After the release of the 2016 film Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice and Suicide Squad, eagle-eyed fans noticed some interesting details about Batman and the Joker. A theory came out saying that they believed that the Joker in the DCU was actually Jason Todd, Batman's former sidekick. In the comic, Jason became the Red Hood, but fans believe in the live-action version he became the Joker. Everything from the Robin costume that Joker rode all over, to being how young Jared Leto's Joker was. Another interesting bit of info was that this Batman, wasn't really against killing, so why did he never kill the Joker? This theory suggests that Batman still believed that Jason could be saved. Even the line Bruce says in Batman v Superman backs it up. 20 years in Gotham, Alfred, we've seen what promises are worth. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way? Number 5. Everything was in Arthur's head. In 2019, fans everywhere went crazy for the film Joker. It starred Joaquin Phoenix, who fans have wanted to see play a live-action Joker for a very long time. This film follows Arthur Fleck and his transformation into the Joker. Or so fans thought. The ending of the film is left open to interpretation. Near the end of the film, it cuts to Arthur in Arkham Asylum, and he is laughing. The nurse asks him what's so funny, and he says that she wouldn't understand the joke. A lot of people took that as everything that happened in the film was actually in Arthur's head the whole time. Even director Todd Phillips wouldn't outright dismiss it. If it is true, it would automatically make you look at the film in a completely new way. Now, that's not the only theory that came out of the film. The other one is also very interesting, which leads us to number 4. Arthur wasn't the real Joker. This is also a theory, that Arthur wasn't the real Joker at all, but actually the person that inspired the real Joker. It started with people saying that he was too old and Bruce was, a kid at the time, and by the time Bruce would be old enough to be Batman, Arthur wouldn't really fit the description anymore. Todd Phillips also said this could be something to think about, that everything Arthur did in the film was the reason that another man would eventually take on the mantle of the Joker in the years to come, and become Batman's greatest foe. Number 3. Batman's brother. In the 2019 film Joker, they ended up building on it. For years, many fans believed that Joker and Batman were connected in some way. In the film, it was revealed that Thomas Wayne had an affair, and that affair brought Arthur into the world. Arthur's mother used to work for Thomas Wayne, and things got a little intimate. Now, Thomas denied it, saying that Arthur's mother was, unstable. But there's evidence that Thomas is covering it up, and it's left up to the viewer to decide. If it was true, it would make for an interesting interaction between Joker and the Dark Knight. Number 2, he's immortal. This would definitely explain a lot if it turned out to be true. Over the years, fans have noticed that no matter what happens, the Joker always returns. He has seemingly died multiple times, yet he always comes back. Now, to add more fuel to the fire, in the comic series Endgame, a meteorite came down to Earth and granted that version of Joker immortality. That wasn't the main version of him, but many believe that it could be true for the main Joker as well. Number 1, he's the real hero in The Dark Knight. Alright, so this theory is actually super interesting. people believe that Batman isn't actually the hero of The Dark Knight, but it's actually Joker. The reason for this is that Gotham was in terrible shape before he came along. Sure, Batman has done a lot of good, but it wasn't till the Joker took out almost every single gang, killed almost every single corrupt city official, and he got Gordon promoted to Commissioner. He even made the city hate Batman, which in turn brought almost 10 years of peace in Gotham with the Dent Act. That's kind of crazy, but a lot of it is kind of accurate. Now, he also did a lot of bad things, and the way he accomplished them was wrong, but a lot of fans believe that you can't argue with the results that he got. It's something really interesting to think about. There you have it, guys, the top 10 scary Joker theories. What does your list look like? Let us know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Top 10 Nerds so you never miss one nerdy moment. I'm your host, David Raff, and thank you so much for watching.
The Batman Who Laughs is one of the more recent additions to the DC Universe, from the Dark Multiverse, in the event spearheaded by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Dark Knight's Metal. If you're unfamiliar with it, the story revolves around Batman discovering a dark multiverse beneath the existing DC multiverse, connecting through mysterious metals. Through his investigations, he accidentally releases 7 evil versions of himself, one of which is the terrifying amalgamation of Batman and the Joker, known as the Batman Who Laughs. So today we're counting down some facts about this new nefarious character in our top 10 The Batman Who Laughs shocking facts. And, should be given, this video is rotten with spoilers. You've been warned. And at number 10 is his origin. While the Batman Who Laughs has been appearing in all of the other one-shots of the other 6 Batman alternates to recruit them, his origin story was revealed in the last of the tie-in one-shots, and it's as dark as you can imagine. While we'll be getting into more details as we go through our list, long story short, the Batman on this Earth is infected by Joker's toxins, causing him to transform into something truly sinister and Joker-inspired. In case you're wondering, he's from Earth -22 of the Dark Multiverse. And oh boy, I would never want to go to this Dark Multiverse. And at number 9 is Joker's influence. We all know that the Joker is an immensely sinister villain, but the Joker of this Batman's Earth is seemingly even more intense than the ones we've seen previously. He's creating pure chaos. He's murdered many of the characters we know and love, like Catwoman, and villains like the Penguin and Killer Croc, and almost every single cop in town. He's blown up all of the hospitals in Gotham, and he even recreates Bruce's parents' death in front of his eyes, of course with another kid's parents. On top of that, he tortured and murdered Jim Gordon in a pretty brutal way, by disintegrating his eyes and jaw while Gordon screamed out for Barbara with his last words. So it's easy to see how a Joker of this level could have had much more of a serious impact on Bruce of this Earth. And at number 8 is Joker's death. All of that pushes Bruce just too far. As Joker says in the comic to Batman, "We're running out of time, you and me." He goes on to say that there is no by the book anymore. I threw the damn thing out. I burned it. And that he was looking for that breaking point, in which I quote, "The joke too far. It has to exist, Bruce. I know it does." And yeah, it really does, with Bat snapping his neck, unfortunately releasing toxins in the process that Batman then inhales. The same toxins that he later finds out was actually killing the Joker slowly, justifying why the Joker pushed things as far as he did. And at number 7 is the other evil Batman. Sidetracking here a bit, let's take a look at the other evil versions of bats that appear in the event, who the Batman Who Laughs is the leader of, in a group called the Dark Knights, working under Barbatos, who is a powerful demon bat god that we still don't know too much about. Also, fun fact, in demonology, Barbatos is a Duke of Hell, who rules legions of demons. Pretty fitting. Anyway, the other Batman who inhabit the other Earths part of the Dark Multiverse include the Red Death, who is an amalgamation of Batman and the Flash on Earth -52 when Bruce steals the Speed Force from Barry Allen. There's the Murder Machine, Earth -44's cyborg-inspired Batman. The Merciless, a new Batman motivated by Wonder Woman's death on Earth -12. The Drowned, who is a female alternate on Earth -11 known as Batwoman, who is at war with Atlantis when Gotham was sunk underwater in retaliation, so she surgically engineered herself to adapt. Then there's Earth -1's The Devastator, in which Batman induces the Doomsday virus on himself in order to defeat Superman. And lastly, Earth -32's Dawnbreaker, who was given a green ring to join the Green Lantern Corps, but uses it for revenge against his parents' killer instead. And at number 6 is the Toxins. The toxins released from the Joker after his death, as Batman discovers, will transform him, leaving his superior mind the same, but adding Joker's moralities into the mix. He reveals this to the Bat family, who are all inclined to fight for Bruce and find a solution, but unfortunately by that point it's a bit too late. And at number 5 is his murder spree. Continuing from where our last number left off, the Batman Who Laughs has already claimed Bruce's mind, which he reveals to the members of the Bat family he's gathered: Batgirl, Red Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing, and then proceeds to murder them with machine guns. From there, the comic flashes forward a week later, where we see that he's murdered most of the members of the Justice League. And with Superman being the last remaining member holding on by a thread, he reveals that he's brought Lois Lane and Superman's son to the JLA Watchtower, then tosses a piece of black kryptonite to Supes, who then goes crazy and murders them alongside Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, pretty dark. And at number 4 are his Robins. Where there is Batman, there is definitely a Robin. But the Robin, or rather Robins, of the Batman Who Laughs world are not the kinds of sidekicks you would ever want to encounter. They're essentially chained up slaves, maniacal, like a disturbing pack of rabid dogs. Some critics actually praise the character's treatment of these Robins as being a horrifically truthful take on the relationship between Batman and his boy wonders. The fact that Batman has been collecting these underage apprentices, training them to be vigilantes, and depriving them of their childhoods by constantly putting them in danger. Yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it. And at number 3 is his Earth is coming to an end. After the people of his Earth retaliate, the Batman Who Laughs pretty much obliterates everything on the planet, until he is all that remains. This causes the world to start to fade from existence. But not before Barbatos shows up, reveals the Dark Multiverse to him, and makes him his leader to guide other evil Batmen in his invasion of the true multiverse. And when he goes to acquire these other twisted Batman alternates, it's moments before their own worlds are about to be erased as well. Which raises some interesting questions about the nature of the Dark Multiverse. Are these negative Earths part of a grander cycle in which the Dark Multiverse resets itself? Or does this just happen to be perfect timing on Barbatos' part? Up next, number 2 is Ninth Metal. While this Batman seems to be a vicious villain for our Earth Zero Batman and co to go up against, he does have one weakness: Ninth Metal. Ninth Metal is a special metal with gravity negating effects, protective abilities. It accelerates healing and increases strength. But not for the inhabitants of the Dark Multiverse, who vibrate at a different frequency to Ninth Metal, and are hurt pretty badly when they come into contact with it. So it's likely we'll be seeing some more Ninth Metal being used sometime soon in the inevitable conflicts to come. And finally, in our number 1 spot, he's just the beginning. Get ready for the biggest spoiler of them all on this list. The very end of the Batman Who Laughs one-shot reveals part of the grander scheme behind Barbatos' plan. It's not just 7 evil Batman alternates that will be plaguing the main universe. In one of the last panels of the comic, the Batman Who Laughs not only reveals the twistedly beautiful logic behind his Joker Batman evolution, but that the larger picture to his new purpose involves bringing in evil alternates. And yeah, they're horrific. Alright, there we have it, friends. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this terrifyingly new character, and what the overall arc of the Dark Knight's metal event will entail. While the one-shot posed lots of interesting questions, like who the bandaged man that the Batman Who Laughs has in captivity that we see at the end of the comic, there's still a whole lot more that we'll be learning with the next several issues featured in the event. So keep your eyes peeled. If this was any indicator, it's gonna be a wild ride.
The Joker is one of the most iconic villains of all time. Existing since 1940, he has a long history, and obviously some of those moments are more shocking than others. I'm Sasha Wood, and let's take a look back at the top 10 most shocking Joker moments. Also, just be aware, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Number 10. 3 Jokers. At the time of this recording, there are 3 Jokers, and they are 3 different men. This seems to have been done to explain the extremely different personalities and actions exhibited by the Joker as opposed to the multiple personality theory. Also, there's just a lot happening with the timelines right now. So these 3 Jokers are New 52 Joker, who as of Rebirth has a new more hipster-esque character design, the Joker from the Killing Joke era, and Joker from the Golden Age era. So why is this shocking or controversial? Well, it kind of derails the whole idea of Batman and the Joker as these 2 men locked in combat, total opposites drawn to each other, even as they repel. Having 3 separate men for some fans just throws that whole dynamic off. But as always, comics are ever changing, so calm down, let's see where it's going, and they'll probably be just down to 1 again soon anyway. Going a bit further back in time at number 9, with the casting of Heath Ledger. When The Dark Knight was announced, everyone was excited to hear that fan favorite villain the Joker would be in the film, but a la Keaton, enthusiasm dimmed when they heard Heath Ledger would be playing the character. People thought that the casting of a previously essentially teen icon was a poor choice, and said he would be the downfall of the series. Oh, how the tables turned when the film was released in 2008. People were shocked to find that Ledger delivered a stellar performance, portraying a Joker who was unlike any shown on screen before. A perfect match for the dour, realistic world created by Nolan, Ledger's performance was given even more attention following his untimely death that same year. A death that many felt was contributed to by him exploring this character's psyche. While that may be an extrapolation, a posthumous Oscar and the respect that the role garnered him make his time as the Joker one of the most memorable. Another controversial casting at number 8. Jared Leto. When it was announced that the Joker would be in the Suicide Squad, people were cautiously excited, but less so when they saw the first promo still of a tattoo-covered Joker. Even though he was emulating a famous panel from The Killing Joke, Leto became dubbed the Hot Topic Joker. Many felt that this film was already attempting to overly appeal to kids. But after the success of Ledger's Joker, people were willing to take a chance. However, many were not thrilled with what they saw in Suicide Squad. What little there was to see, that is. This performance is still dividing people, with some feeling it's brilliant and unique, while others find it silly and campy. Unlike The Dark Knight, Suicide Squad is nowhere near as beloved a film, so there isn't that backing for Leto either. However, time will tell how this performance is remembered. This will not be the last round of Batman adaptations, and it's unlikely he will be the last Joker. Moving back to comic representation at number 7, the Joker cuts off his own face. The New 52 is a universe relaunch that was attempting to reset said universe to make it more accessible for new readers. However, extremely successful arcs and titles were allowed to have a softer restart than others. Batman was one such title. While New 52 Joker has been nothing if not insane. In fact, in Detective Comics number 1, released in 2011, the Joker meets up with fellow villain the Dollmaker and has him cut off his face, which he then leaves pinned to the wall of his cell as a symbol of his rebirth. This grisly imagery was the Joker's look for a while, but thanks to Rebirth, we now have a more traditional design. Taking it to the animated world in at number 6, with the transformation of Tim Drake from Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. Released in 2000 as part of the Batman Beyond universe, this film is definitely worth checking out. The film contains potentially the darkest act committed by the Joker in the DCAU. When Tim Drake, the third Robin overall, and the second in the DCAU, is kidnapped, Batman and Batgirl fear the worst. When they receive a clue, it leads them to the Joker and Harley Quinn, who, in a bid to expand their family, have kidnapped the young Robin and spent weeks torturing him. Electroshock, drugs, body manipulation, until he has essentially become a little miniature Joker. This haunts the entire team in this universe and leads to a death scene for the Joker that has two versions, as one was censored after being deemed too graphic. There's one where he is impaled through the chest and another where he is electrocuted. Honestly, they're both pretty gruesome. It made viewers have to confront the idea of how far is too far, which wasn't something really asked before in the DCAU, but as it darkened, the questions got harder. It's a good movie with some great scenes. Check it out. Believe it or not, those were only minor spoilers. More violence in at number 5, when the Joker shoots Dick Grayson. Nowadays, the Joker shooting someone may seem a little tame, or even expected, but in 1987, it was still new territory. In the post-Infinite Crisis era of comics, Dick Grayson made the leap from sidekick to hero in his own right, becoming Nightwing. But how did this happen? An explanation was provided in Batman number 408, released in 1987, which detailed how during a routine takedown of the Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime shot Robin, who was attempting to sneak up behind him. The shot was through the shoulder and highlighted for Batman the danger he had essentially put his son into. As a result, he fired him, which prompted Dick to leave and find his own way, and create a rift between the former partners. So in a way, the Joker can be thanked for spawning one of DC's more popular, recent-ish heroes, in Nightwing. Not everyone he shot has fared so well. A less lucky victim in at number 4, Sarah Essen. The second wife of Commissioner Gordon, Sarah first appeared in 1987 and had become a staple supporting character until Detective Comics number 741, released in the year 2000. During the No Man's Land arc, in which Gotham has suffered a massive earthquake and the villains have essentially taken control, dividing the city into various regions, the Joker kidnaps dozens of infants and holds them hostage. When Sarah arrives and corners him at gunpoint, he tosses one of the babies to her, which she instinctively reaches out to catch, dropping her gun, which allows him to retrieve it and shoot her in the head. In a rare moment for the Joker, he doesn't find any humor in this, and in fact leaves the room frowning and actually turns himself in right after. This is a move that has perplexed many fans, but that some take as a rare instance of self-awareness. However, he bursts out laughing when in a rage Gordon shoots him in the leg, prompting him to say he'll never walk again, which he then finds hysterical as he had previously shot Barbara Gordon, crippling her. More Barbara controversy in at number 3. The variant cover for Batgirl number 41. This cover was pulled at the artist Raphael Albuquerque's request after fan backlash. The cover depicted the Joker in an outfit reminiscent of the one he shot Barbara in, holding a gun over a terrified looking Batgirl with a smile smeared on her face and what appears to be blood. While it was meant to be an homage to a classic moment, many fans felt that it was sexist and condoned violence against women, which then spawned a backlash against their backlash, saying that art was art and that it was iconic and that the Joker is an equal opportunity sadist and will terrify anybody. However, the controversy became too much and the whole concept was pulled. What did you guys think of this cover? Share your feelings down below. Which brings us to number 2. The Joker kills Jason Todd. One of the most controversial deaths in comics, Jason Todd, the second Robin, died during the 4-issue comic arc Death in the Family. This being Batman number 426 to 429, which began in 1988 and ended in 1989. After Jason runs away from home to find his biological mother, he finds himself in the Joker's clutches. What follows are sequences that have become iconic and how horrifying they are. The Joker brutally beats Jason with a crowbar until he is lying in a pool of his own blood, at which point he sets a bomb in the warehouse where he has Todd and his mother, who had turned him over to the Joker. Jason throws himself on the bomb to shield her from the blast and is killed in the process, a decision that was determined by a questionable fan vote. In the trade editions, you can even get versions with both panels, the one where he lived and the one where he died. However, his death at the hands of the Joker shakes the DC universe, and even upon his return, he was never the same. This is one of the Joker's most unforgivable acts, and is a moment that fans won't soon forget. Something that is not only unforgettable, but is still causing contention to this day, in at number 1. You were expecting it. It's the Joker shoots Barbara Gordon. The Joker cripples Barbara Gordon in an attempt to drive her father insane. This action ended her career as Batgirl until the New 52. The Killing Joke was released in 1988 and was written by Alan Moore, and it's considered by many a must-read regardless of whether you're a Batman fan or not. It's also unique in the annals of comics in that it was not necessarily meant to be canon, but many elements of it were taken as such. Barbara's paralysis was one such moment. While some found it an acceptable narrative move, others felt it was poor writing that hurt a key character and didn't give her any agency in the story. Others argue it wasn't a story about her and any side character is a potential casualty. Case in point, Jason Todd. The controversy was addressed in later comics by having Barbara call out Batman for laughing with his arch nemesis while she was laying in a hospital bed crippled, and ultimately the incident led to her becoming Oracle, a beloved character who became a symbol for those with disabilities. Oracle knew everything. She was the linchpin of not only the Batman team, but the Birds of Prey, to the point that when her paralysis was reversed in the New 52, people were upset about that. However, this controversy persists, and when The Killing Joke was adapted into a film, there were huge debates as to how this scene should be handled, or if it was even appropriate to adapt at all. Because of this, people still can't agree on whether this was a good movie or not, but we can all agree that that Batman-Batgirl sex scene was weird. This scene will live on as one of the defining Joker moments, for better or for worse. So those were the top 10 most shocking Joker moments. Do you guys want a part 2? We could go on for days. Let us know what you want to see down below. I'm Sasha Wood, thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Turn on your bell notification to never miss a vid, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Ron Mackenzie LaFurgy. We all know the Joker, the silly, clown-like villain who's also a homicidal maniac. While he generally isn't the superpower type, he tends to rely more on various poisons and gadgets. He has shown a number of powers over the years, some that endured and some that lasted only a short time. Not enough people know about them, so I've compiled a list of my faves. So smile, it's time for the top 10 powers you didn't know Joker had. Number 10. Pain resistance. We've seen Joker get beaten down time and time again, and yet the guy keeps coming back. His complete disregard for pain leads many to believe that he has some sort of resistance and potentially feels no pain at all. Take for example that time he let Dollmaker remove his face just to make a point. Now it's possible that he's just so insane that it was worth it for his strange reasons, but I think it's more likely that he just doesn't feel it. And after all the crap he's put his body through, I can't really blame it for going, screw it, I'm turning off all the nerves, you're a jerk. Number 9. Knowledge
knowledge of the fourth wall. This might not exactly be a superpower per se in that he doesn't really use it to help him, but it certainly shows a high level of awareness, or what some would call medium awareness. Knowing that there are people watching him does explain some of his antics, and it shows him to be totally aware of his situation. We see this from time to time in the animated series, where he often speaks directly to the camera or to the invisible viewers. Number 8. Immunity to poison. Years of dedicated abuse of his body has caused Joker to be immune to all kinds of poisons and toxins. This helps him to be unaffected by his own gas, but also allows him to resist the effects of other chemicals like Scarecrow's fear gas. This is, of course, incredibly useful for a guy whose main MO is chemical weapons, and also helps him to avoid capture or death by poison. He's basically Wesley from Princess Bride, but instead of iocane powder, it's everything. Number 7. Immortality. That's right, for a short time, Joker was immortal. In a Judge Dredd crossover, Joker invaded the universe of Judge Dredd and managed to bargain with the Dark Judges, Death, Fear, Fire, and Morthus. In exchange for helping them to escape their prison, he would receive immortality. He did it, and he became immortal, Judge Joker, only to get kinda bored with it and go back home to his mortal life. At first it sounds sorta silly, but when you really think about it, do you really think Joker would be happy with an easy life without Batman? Neither do I. Number 6. Superhuman timing. This one is far from confirmed, but it goes a long way to explain Joker's success despite his seeming lack of concern in most cases. For the record, this was first brought to my attention by Reddit user Kodoro, so I can't take credit for this idea, but it's pretty cool. You know the most important thing to a comedian? Timing. And it seems that rather fittingly, the Joker has amazing timing. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time, and no matter how close to defeat he may be, he always seems to come out on top, except when that damn bat is around. This explains both his incredible success as a villain and his hate for Batman. He throws off his timing, and nobody likes a heckler. Number 5. Super intellect. Here's one that's probably better known than some of the others. As insane as Joker comes off, it's hard to deny that the dude is one smart cookie. His laughing gas is one of a kind, and the fact that he created it shows incredible prowess in chemistry. He's also shown himself to be highly knowledgeable in human psychology, having thoroughly manipulated countless people, either to use them to his advantage or just to mess with them. His plans are also often incredibly cunning, sometimes pulling the wool over the eyes of Batman himself. Granted, sometimes his plans work because they're just so insane and unexpected, but there is clearly a good deal of intelligence trying desperately to claw its way past the more insane thoughts. Number 4. Tactical genius. Not only is Joker a scientific and psychological genius, but he's proven himself to be quite the tactician. Whether he's setting up a trap for his favorite caped crusader, or escaping Arkham Asylum for the umpteenth time, he definitely knows how to make a plan. If Joker's behind bars, chances are it's all part of his plan, because he has an easier time getting out of Arkham than I do finding my way out of the mall. Number 3. Super sanity. This idea was popularized when Grant Morrison described it in his graphic novel Arkham Asylum: A Serious House on Serious Earth in 1989. It's a bit complex, but essentially says that the Joker has no real filter on what he perceives. While normal people's perception is altered by their own sets of beliefs, the Joker just goes with the flow, in a way reinventing himself every day. It isn't that he's a madman who just wants to watch the world burn, he just takes in information and does what comes naturally. Just so happens that what comes naturally is killing, and a lot of it. This is an explanation that isn't accepted by everyone, but it's certainly interesting to think about. Number 2. Mr. Mxyzptlk's powers. Man, I so did not want to include this point because I did not want to say that name, but it had to be on here because it's pretty cool. In the Emperor Joker story arc, Joker managed to get his hands on the vast majority of Mr. M's power. And if you thought Joker was terrifying normally, you're in for an unpleasant surprise. He rebuilt Earth in his own image as he wanted it to be, and spent much of his time just torturing Batman. Even with fifth dimensional powers, all Joker really cares about is bats. It's almost cute. Almost. Number 1. Making Batman not be sulky for a moment. Yeah! Now I've referenced this in past videos, but I think it's worth another mention because it was a pretty cool scene. In The Killing Joke, Joker and Batman have a surprisingly chill discussion where Joker tells Batman a joke. It's full of subtext talking about 2 inmates escaping an asylum, but the most shocking part of the scene comes just after the punchline. After a ripe pause, we see Batman not just wipe his grumpy face off, but even laugh. Not a chuckle, not a grunt, a full belly laugh. And I gotta tell you, it was unsettling, but also extremely cool seeing the pair laugh together like old friends. Considering the Dark Knight's constant brooding, this might be Joker's most powerful ability of them all, even if the joke itself was not that funny. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please smack that thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more videos. Can you think of any other powers the Joker might have? Share your ideas in the comments section down below. I look forward to reading them. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.
Today, Joker might be thought of as one of
of the most twisted and darkest characters around, but he hasn't always been that way. He's gone from dark to silly and back to dark again, although this time around he might be considered as being in one of his darkest iterations yet, as he seems to be getting progressively more twisted with every coming year in the comics. And writers are always trying to help create scenarios where the Joker can outdo himself and become even more shocking of a character. He was first introduced in the comics in Batman issue number 1 and was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Robinson. When he first appeared, he was violent and murderous, but from there his character became more shaped by Cesar Romero's depiction of him in the 60s live-action Batman show, becoming more silly and more of a chaotic prankster for a while. One thing is for certain though, whether we are talking about the main continuity Joker or any of his alternates, Joker has always been drawn to the side of chaos and evil since his early days, and it's no surprise that in the end he always returns to the darkness. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we are going to be looking at some of the more evil depictions we've seen of the Joker over the years as we count down the top 10 dark alternate versions of the Joker. So strap in, smash that subscribe, and get ready to revisit 80 years worth of dark alternates. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Harley Quinn animated series. Sure, this version of the Joker is quite hilarious, as this is a mature comedic animated show, but that doesn't mean that he isn't dark. He is still, after all, the Joker. This version of the Joker actually succeeds in taking over Gotham City at the end of season 1, trapping the Justice League, defeating Batman, torturing Harley's crew, and defeating even the other members of the Legion of Doom. The guy even kills Scarecrow for unmasking Batman in front of him by making his head explode with acid. It's true, it happened. He is violent, successful, and still quite dark. He also makes his entrance in season 1, episode 1 by wearing the captain of a yacht's face, ripping it off like a mask to reveal his own. Ugh. Number 9. Emperor Joker. When you give Joker 99.99% of Mr. Mixie-Piz Yiddle's reality warping powers, you can expect things to get weirdly dark. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that Emperor Joker was born in the comics and that he did all kinds of twisted, dark things. One of the worst things though for me was he set almost everyone in a horrible time loop where they were usually trapped in some way or being tortured, or you know, being trapped and tortured. The worst of combos. Or I guess in Joker's case, the best of combos? Number 8. Joker film. The Joker film may exist in its own bubble, but that bubble was a pretty dark and bleak one. Arthur Fleck is played by Joaquin Phoenix in the film, and the film is based off of the Killing Joke origins for the villain. The idea that one bad day is all it takes to turn someone insane or change someone's life dramatically. In the case of the 2019 Joker film, that one bad day is actually kind of more of a snowball effect. Arthur Fleck is a failed comedian who is mentally ill, and when cut off from his medication, quickly becomes overwhelmed by all the negative aspects of his life and shocking revelations. In the end, he ends up killing his favorite show host on national television, similar to a moment in the Dark Knight Returns animated story, and confirming Arthur Fleck's full transformation into the Joker, becoming a killer, a villain, and inspiring riots in Gotham. Number 7. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger had one of the most ruled by chaos versions of the Joker. This was a grittier, darker interpretation of the character that was so powerful it actually influenced Joker's appearance and senseless love of violence in the comics, radiating outwards. Ledger and Christopher Nolan's interpretation of the character was actually a perfect marriage of the silly chaos that is the Joker, but cut with a grotesque sense of recklessness that made this interpretation so dangerous. It remains a great homage to the classic Joker while also being a deadly modern spin on the character. Number 6. Vampire Joker. The Joker of Earth 43 ends up appearing to die, and in so turns Batman evil, causing him to give into his bloodlust and cementing his transformation into a full-fledged monster and vampire. Batman himself had already been changed into a vampire when he and the Joker came to final blows. Batman though remained immune to most vampire weaknesses as he still maintained a pure heart, having never fed off of a human. Joker killing Batman's companion, Werecat Selina Kyle, however, threw Batman into a rage, causing him to give into his vampire instincts. He killed Joker and fed off of him, giving into the darkness within himself, and this meant that in death, Joker had actually won. And although Batman attempted to dispose of Joker's body in such a way that, he'd never return as a vampire, somehow Joker managed to survive and did return as a vampire himself during Convergence. Number 5. Killing Joke. This version and Joker story will always have a place in comic book history as being one of the most controversial. But besides that, it also gives us a very dark alternate version of the Joker, and a much sadder version. It paints the picture of Joker as a man who leaves his job at a chemical plant to pursue a career as a stand-up comedian. Unfortunately, no one really finds him very funny, save for his pregnant wife, who insists that he always manages to make her smile. Aww. Low on cash, he agrees to help some criminals with a robbery, guiding them through the chemical plant that he used to work for. After finding out his wife and baby, however, have perished, he is forced to go through with the plan anyway and ends up falling into a vat of chemicals. While of course not an official origin story for the Joker, it is a very dark origin that helps to explain the Joker's madness, and even somehow makes you feel sympathy for the character that in the same book paralyzes Barbara Gordon and tortures her father, Commissioner Gordon. Number 4. Injustice Joker. While Injustice Joker may not have survived very long, he was one of the most brutal and dark because, like some of Joker's other alternates, he was willing to trade his life just to see his plan come to fruition. And come to fruition, it did. Joker was successful in driving Superman to his breaking point, causing him to kill the Joker and turn into a villain himself. One of the best ways, of course, to turn Superman into a villain is to take out all of the people who keep him the most human, such as his pal Jimmy Olsen and of course Lois Lane. In doing this, although the Joker died, he won. Because of this incident and of course Metropolis being blown up, Superman feels he has no choice but to take hold of the world in order to protect Earth, along the way losing even more of his humanity and becoming himself sort of a paranoid dictator. Number 3. Martha Wayne. In Flashpoint, we get to visit an alternate timeline where Bruce was the one who died, not his parents. They are forced to live with the loss of their son, which inspired Thomas Wayne to take up the mantle as Batman, but drives his wife Martha insane. She ends up becoming the Joker after Thomas Wayne's Batman goes to take care of the criminal responsible for murdering his son. He tells Martha that he too misses Bruce, and he also misses her smile. When he returns after pummeling the criminal Joe Chill to death with his bare hands, he finds out that Martha has given herself a Glasgow smile. Yee. Number 2. The Batman Who Laughs. Batman Who Laughs is of course more considered an alternate version of Bruce Wayne than of the Joker, but in truth, he's kind of an amalgam of both. Breathing in the Joker's venom that exudes from his corpse after Batman kills him is what causes Bruce to become the Batman Who Laughs. In a sense, Joker, although dead, lives on within him, twisting his mind into something closer to the Joker's than to Bruce's. Although this character just goes to show how close these two characters really could be when it comes to their potential for evil. So wait, would that make Batman kind of an alternate version of Joker himself, and vice versa? Does that mean that Joker's an alternate version of Batman? Batman's an alternate version of Joker. Huh. Number 1. Earth Negative 22 Joker. Why is it that all the darkest iterations of Joker have to die? Well, because, you know, something is about to go horribly wrong when you allow the Joker to die. One of the darkest versions of the Joker to date appeared in the origin story for the Batman Who Laughs. We find out the Batman Who Laughs became who he was because of this Joker, the Joker of Earth Negative 22. Knowing he was going to die soon, finally being poisoned to death by the toxin which had made him who he was, he planned to go out with a bang. This meant taking down all of Batman's former foes, proving that he himself was the ultimate foe, and torturing Batman by orphaning a bunch of children in front of him before exposing the kids to the Joker venom, driving them insane. In doing so, this Joker brought about the most evil creation. Batman snapped and killed the Joker, releasing the very venom that would transform him into the terrifying Batman Who Laughs. And yet Joker got the last laugh there, I think. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. What are some of your favorite Joker alternates? Which do you think is the darkest? Let us know in the comments below. And if you think Joker is the ultimate Batman villain, show it by giving this list a thumbs up. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.